Blue and I met the summer of 1994. My heart literally skipped a beat and has ever since. He's walked into a room since then. He was the most incredibly handsome man I had ever seen. I was only 19, so maybe I hadn't seen a lot of men at that point in my life. But I wrote in my journal 2 weeks after I met him that I had met the man I was going to marry. And 2 years later, we got married. And we've been married for 18 years. He had a way of making the simplest thing just amazing. When he first suggested to me that he was going to apply for Calgary Fire, I was surprised because he's not one to work for someone per se, or to have a boss or a union or any of those things that come with working for the city.
He came to the hall, one of the guys brought him and said, you know, this is Blue, he wants to join the fire department. So right from that day, I met him. Thought he was a really laid back guy. He was a perfect firefighter because things just didn't bother him. He was always happy, come back here, and he was always upbeat. His giggle, there was nothing like it in the world. I mean, when he laughed, you knew he was happy. He was giggling like a little schoolgirl, as they say.
Blue was a hard worker, really hard worker. You know, if he was waist deep in water, he'd be still doing whatever he had to do in, you know, rain and sleet or whatever. Quite often he'd be 10 minutes late for practice. Things like, you know. A few years ago, my fellow fire chief in the Ghost River Fire Department, part of the MD of Bighorn, he just finished going to a funeral for one of the guys he worked with, and he had cancer. I just thought, you know, that there's a retired firefighter. He gets retired, he's going to enjoy the best of life, and he doesn't get to.
Firefighters, it's an inherently dangerous job already. There's so many things that can kill us, and then you come to something like that, then it's just another thing that adds to the list. You don't even think about as far as protecting yourself.
I remember us even a year ago saying how crazy it is that we both come from fairly large families and nobody in our immediate family has ever had cancer. And the fact that there was no family history and Blue was healthy and strong. His symptoms came very, very quickly. It went from having colds all the time to pain in his stomach. He became very tired. His immune system was pretty much destroyed. He was diagnosed on May 25th, which was a Wednesday. When a doctor cries, and he told us that they had found on the CT scan a mass in Blue's colon, and that it had metastasized to his lungs and to his stomach and to his liver. They could see spots. I remember thinking that the side of the room was dark, and all I could see was the doctor's eyes and Blue's eyes, and they were both crying, and I just remember sitting there thinking, my husband does not cry. He held me and he patted me on the back and he said, "Deb, I'm gonna take care of you." And he said, and then maybe until I can't, and then maybe you can take care of me. The doctor gave him a weekend pass. And the first thing he wanted to do was go to the hall and explain to the guys in person why he couldn't be there for his shift that weekend. He loved the guys.
He was often a larger-than-life character, and yet so chill, so laid back.
It's so hard, I think, to look back on it, and for a long time I blamed the house because, well, it's a good thing to blame. It doesn't have any feelings but I just kind of thought that if we hadn't have built the house, we would have noticed the symptoms earlier. It was a dream of his to build this house. He planned it for so long. I don't even know all the different trades that were brought in to finish the house, but I just know that God had a hand in it all, and he was instrumental in bringing us the right people at the right time. But I was so grateful for the fact that they didn't just finish it. They wanted to be sure that they knew Blue, and they knew that he kind of marched to the beat of his own drum, and he didn't do things the way everybody else would do them. And they took the time to know that about him and to finish the house special.
This is the spot, so when we bike up here, this is the first spot we stop. So we bike all the way here and we rest. We used to have Blue showed me this. He's like, just hang here and have a drink of water here. And that was the only stop we'd have on this trail. I'm driving home from Canmore and Blue gives me a call. He says, hey, where are you? And I said, oh, just a couple of minutes outside Exshore. And he said, oh, when you swing by, take a look in my picture window. I've got a new piece of artwork up. I'm like, what? And so I drive up the street and I look in the window, and there he is, and striking a pose in his underwear, like for everybody to see, and having a good old laugh at it. And that was kind of Blue's humor. I found the weekend, like the couple of days leading up to it, was the days that I realized, and it was interesting because other friends of mine had seen it earlier. But for me, I think I was in denial.
3 months down the road, we'll be celebrating him beating cancer. I thought there's no way this can bring him down, but obviously I was wrong.
I'm gonna love you till the end of time. With all my breath, my blood, my strength, and my might. Yes, I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna love you when the moon's aglow, until time rots our bones, wrinkles our hands. You will find me doing all I can. There's no turning back. Now that I love you, there's no turning back.
I see him in his kids. His kids are him. They're their love of life, the outdoors.
The other day in the car, I jokingly asked the kids who was going to follow in Daddy's footsteps, and Willow, my youngest, sighed and said, oh, I guess I'll do it. I'll take one for the team. And I said, that a girl, Willow. And I would definitely encourage her to do that. I think the quality of life as a firefighter is outweighs the risk of getting sick. I'm so proud of him for who he was, the 4 children that he gave us that will continue to carry his legacy as a biker, as a firefighter, hopefully, as community members, neighbors, friends. Always always just placing that importance on people over things and money and status. I miss him a lot.
Now that I love you, there's no turning